Go, go, you mighty Gamescom Power Rangers!
Hey everyone, it's Alessandro here from LaserGamer.net. It's my last interview of the day, and I'm standing here with Olivier, the producer on Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. Olivier, how's your Gamescom been?
It's been really busy, but very interesting. We showed our E3 demo a few weeks ago, and now people are coming here with a lot of more like in-depth question about the setting of the world, kind of the segregation theme we've been talking about, and the sort of the new augmentations. So we've had a bit more like in-depth discussions, and it's been great because we feel there's a lot of interest into what we're trying to do, and this is always really motivating for us.
And, talking about segregation, the first Deus Ex was very much about the humans and the augmented.
Right.
And that's just kind of carried through into Mankind Divided. What sort of, themes do you want to explore with this new sequel rather than rehashing what was in the first game?
So the first game was about, humans trying to get to the next level and getting augmentations to improve their personal lives and their work and things like that. So it was kind of the golden age of transhumanism, right? But the big events at the end of Human Revolution resulted in a really divided world, and now people are kind of scared of augmented people, so there's a lot of prejudice and segregation, and some augmented people are being pushed into ghettos, so this is a really heavy sort of world setting that we are starting to explore in Mankind Divided. And what's really interesting with Adam Jensen, our main character, is he is obviously super augmented.
Yeah.
So you walk around in a city and people are kind of scared of him because he's augmented, right?
Yeah.
But on the other side of the debate, if he goes into an augmented ghetto, he's being viewed with suspicion as well because it's all shiny. He doesn't need all new and like he doesn't need the neuropozyne drug to sustain his augmentation. People are like, why don't you help us? So he's kind of always a stranger in a strange land.
Yeah.
And as a player, it's really interesting because you get to see kind of both sides of the problem, and that's the main narrative driver in the game. And ultimately, as Adam Jensen, we'll have to make some big choices that will kind of tilt the course of humanity and how people deal with the situation.
And he didn't even ask for it. I mean,
But that's a good. I think that's also interesting that in Human Revolution, there was the tagline "I never asked for this" was kind of represented the character. It's his kind of genesis. He was trying to figure out who he is, being asked to do different things, and in this one, we really want to empower Adam Jensen. We want to empower the player, and now he's more comfortable with who he is. He wants to kind of delve deeper into that conspiracy and know what happened. So I think this is kind of an interesting character arc as well for Adam.
yeah, because as you said, he's kind of embraced the fact that he's, fully augmented and he's always going to be that way. So now he has a lot of new augmentations that he's bringing with him to this one, specifically in terms of your combat arc. What can you tell us about that?
So we worked really hard on the combat arc, and the message here is we didn't want to turn this into a combat game. That's not the point. The point is stealth was really, I think, well done in Human Revolution. But combat was a bit more clunky. The gunplay wasn't quite up to the standards that we want to attain, and we didn't have as many tools. So now we want to kind of bring that combat to the same level of stealth and the other options. So now, Deus Ex game is about, player freedom and choosing how you want to play. Now, with combat being the same level, the players actually, can choose the combat option if they want to do. So there's a lot of new augmentations that are more visceral, more powerful. And they're really fluid to use through combat and easy to access on your controller. So this was really important for us.
Yeah, I've seen one of the new ones is a shield that Jensen puts himself in, so that if he's in these hectic firefights, he can take it. What other tools are there that he has at his disposal that he never really had in Human Revolution?
Yeah. One really cool addition is Jensen has this kind of iconic blade, and we only saw it in Human Revolution as a tool during his takedowns. But now you can actually use the nanoblade as a projectile.
Oh yeah.
And it's stealthy, it's really fast to use, it's really, really powerful. And if you upgrade it enough, you can actually charge it and have it as an explosive device. So, this is really fluid to use in combat and opens a lot of new options for the player.
But then, of course, if you want to be stealthy or you want to be really charismatic, you're giving players the option to do that. In particular, I know you've said in the past that players will be able to have conversations with bosses and actually bypass them through that way. Can you tell me a little bit? Yeah. How does that system work then? Yeah.
Actually, this is I think maybe the way we communicated or the way like the awesome
was
information was kind of mashed together. That doesn't happen in the game. You can't just be in a boss fight and say, hey, let's stop and talk this through. Maybe I would love to play that game, but that's not Mankind Divided. So what we have is we have like those really important debates, the conversation. That's one thing, but we still have the kind of the more classic sort of boss fight setting.
Yeah.
This is something else. But I think the point with the boss fight approach is it has to be consistent with your play style. If you're a stealth, non-lethal player, kind of the setup of that boss will allow you to tackle the challenge with your play style.
Yeah.
And when stepping back a little bit, and we can ask ourselves for a Deus Ex game, what does it mean to have like a boss fight in a very heavy narrative setting like we have?
Yeah.
So, I'm putting this out there, and the players would kind of discover the way we tackle this challenge.
And I mean, Deus Ex really came back with Human Revolution, and it's just continuing Adam Jensen's story with Mankind Divided. Do you have plans to eventually catch up to the classic, the first Deus Ex games, or is this very much a trilogy that you want to be self-encompassing, that you just want to exist within that world, but as its own entity?
We are very much rooted into the Deus Ex universe, and the original Deus Ex game is still kind of part of the canon. So if you explore the game and read different maybe emails or see some character names, if you're a fan of the franchise, you'd be like, I know this guy. Yeah. I kind of understand where this corporation is headed and could be headed for the original Deus Ex. So right now we're really focused on the Adam Jensen character arc. And we're obviously working hard on Mankind Divided, so that's what we're looking at. But we're this time around we'll track more the player choices throughout the game and kind of put them into a save file. So if we are lucky enough to revisit the franchise, we could pick things up and kind of track what the players actually chose and carry this into the next parts of the Deus Ex universe.
And how long can players kind of expect to be involved within this world? Because it is an RPG, you do have free reign on the world, and there's a lot of stuff to do other than just hunting the main game's conspiracy. Could you give like a ballpark figure of what players can expect to play for?
The ballpark is around what Human Revolution was.
Yeah.
It's always kind of tricky for us to measure the length of the game. We have a lot of gamers coming into our studio and they play test the game, we observe them, take notes, and sometimes we have types of players that just go straight to the objectives and really fast, carry minimal loot, and that's good for them. And you can play like that, that's great, but we have a lot of players they look at all the little like nooks and crannies and read all the emails and look at all the objects and find the secret room and all these things. So a player can go through an environment in 30 minutes, the guy next to him 2 hours later is still like playing around. So, and now with our level design, we have much more sort of verticality and ways to enter the different challenges, and so that makes it more difficult for us to measure how long like the actual game is. We make sure that the environments, the hub environment, are a bit bigger. There's more possibilities into how you can approach the challenges, and I think overall this will add a lot for the players' offer. We also have the side content, side mission content. Call it side mission, but for us it's really, really important that it's grounded into the story, into the conspiracy. You get to explore more personal stories of the segregation. That's a great angle as well for the player to get more an idea of the themes of our game.
And just as a final question, Human Revolution had a really great DLC add-on that came out after the game, Missing Link. Yeah. And it was great. It was really long. It introduced a boss fight that was more, stealth friendly, but it was still, additional content. Do you have plans for that for Mankind Divided, or is this just one core package?
So right now we're fully focused on the core package, and we'll see after if there are opportunities for DLC and things like that. But right now the team is really, really committed to producing the best sort of package for Mankind Divided. And, the way we approach the game, it's the narrative, the story arc is really, really important. So we don't want to get kind of sidetracked into kind of DLC. We want everyone to be focused on making a great of narrative structure and choice and consequences happen for the player.
Fantastic. And when can players expect to get their hands on Mankind Divided?
It's going to be early 2016, PC, Xbox One, and PS4.